Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Ryza Atelier, or Atelier Ryza, or whatever the order of those words is in the title. Episode 2. I am still a little bit behind, but eventually I will catch up. Right, in the previous episode, we got an introduction to our characters and a hook for the story. A very big introduction because we learned a lot about all of the characters, about the little piece of the world they live in, and even about the world in general that they live in, although to a much lesser degree. We know that Ryza is adventurous. She wants to go for adventures. She wants to find her place in the world, and she's not satisfied with just being a farmer's daughter. And her friends also, one of them wants to get stronger, another one wants to learn about the secrets of the previous civilization. So everybody has some goal, everybody is somewhat goal driven, and thankfully, thanks to the arrival of an alchemist to their little island village, they each will have a chance to fulfill their dreams, to follow their dreams, and to achieve their goals. Right, Ryza will be learning alchemy from the alchemist. One of her friends will be learning the old ancient writing, and another one will be learning fighting combat from, I forgot her name. I'm sorry. It's too early for me to remember every name of every character. I probably will need some a little bit of a whatchamacallit, a character photos and names on the side of my screen to be able to tell who's who. That's what I wanted to say. In more detail, what happened in the previous episode was, of course, that Ryza and her friends set off to another adventure, and at the same time there was a merchant caravan with our alchemist and his bodyguard arriving at the village, at the very same village, at the island. The island is very separated from the rest of the world. The usual custom is that nobody leaves and nobody gets in, which is very weird and is really giving me creepy vibes of like a closed cult, almost kind of a situation. That maybe there is so much to see in the world, but those people never will. Why? Because it will sway them? Because it's dangerous? I don't know, remains to be seen. And we managed to save the daughter of the merchant, and she joins our merry band of friends in our adventures and misadventures, I'm assuming. Then it turned out Ryza has a very high aptitude for being an alchemist, which was to be expected, of course, because she's the protagonist. And we pretty much just left off there. There's been some stuff that's interesting, like one single person on the entire island controlling the entirety of their fresh water. That's very dystopian, isn't it? And yet it seems very normal to those people. And because of the tradition, they aren't trying to look for better ways to live. So I'm really getting like heavy cold vibes from this whole thing, but perhaps it isn't anything as nefarious. The world might simply be a very dangerous place, or might have been a very dangerous place, and that's why the tradition of never leaving was born, but now it's safer, not fully safe, but safer than it was. The world in general seems rather, because we haven't seen that much of it, but from what characters say, from what we can infer from what we've seen and what we heard, it seems post-apocalyptic. all those ruins that the alchemist is interested in, a wholly different writing system that modern people don't exactly understand. And that was my water bottle. Most of those people don't understand whatsoever. It's really giving me the vibes of the previous civilization being destroyed somehow and a new civilization being born, perhaps in after couple of thousands of years. I don't know. I'm assuming, I'm hoping we will learn about that. In today's episode, I expect nothing major to happen. I expect the beginning of lessons. I expect spending some time with friends. Perhaps a simple quest to go fetch some, I don't know, some grass, some flowers, or something like that. But I don't think any major plot will start quite yet. I'd see it starting around episode 3, maybe 4. We'll see. It might go for faster pacing. Who's to say? Yeah, I think that's about it for the intro. One more thing of housekeeping. I modified my OBS settings ever so slightly. I enabled a variable bitrate instead of constant bitrate, so maybe the video will look better, maybe it will look worse. I don't know, we'll see. And I also changed the exposure, auto exposure method from center weighted to average, because I'm never at the center of the screen, so it never weighs properly to me. So maybe average will be better. Ideally, I would be able to set a point from which it takes the image data to figure out the exposure, but alas, no such option. Elgato, if you're listening to it, please add it in software. It shouldn't be that hard. Yeah, I think that does it now. So how about we just watch this episode, shall we? To do that, you will of course need your subs to follow along with me. I will need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I will have to ask you for your support monetary on Patreon, for example, down below, or share my content, spread the word. Costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And with all of that out of the way, we can start watching episode 2 of Ryza Atelier in 3, 2, 1, go. First day as an alchemist. Her own alchemy pot, or is she at the alchemist's place? Also, necessary upskirt shot. I mean, almost. At least she's not wearing, nothing underneath her coat. It's not exactly skirt either, just a coat with a little bit of a flare out at the end. I forget what I said. Her shorts are basically panties though, so... Yeah, what's in the box? Is it where she stores her bow and arrows? There's a lot of focus on her thighs. Or maybe they just naturally drive your focus to them. I don't know. Either is plausible. Yeah, those weird tomatoes. She's gathering ingredients. The opposite. Yep. Watery fruit. So not this particular fruit, but any fruit that's watery. Is that how it works? In the game? There are certain like tags on ingredients like watery, dry, hard, soft, etc. And you need to mix and match those. Shinmai Renki Jutsushi no Tenpo Keiei vibes. Getting her very first alchemical grimoire and working through it. Some simple, yep, ointment. Okay, so there are some like concrete ingredients that you need, and some ingredients that any fruit that is watery will do. Is that how it works? Right. You'll know what you're looking for once you find it. Of course. Time to learn. True. Why would that be? She's an alchemist's apprentice. Roughly. Ask about the flower as well, maybe? No? Okay, sure. Uh, she acts faster than she thinks. Yep. Maybe, taking off the gauntlet would make things easier. Just saying. Is that the lesson? Organize your shit? Yeah, stacking books on their sides. Not a great idea. Sometimes you can't help it. I have plenty of books stacked on their sides. I just don't have the space. You should have held it better. And plenty more for the goat. Just don't let it eat your book. Yeah, makes sense. Nobody is able to gather more information than a shopkeep. information. Or ads, sure. That's a ruin, I assume. I mean, yeah, it actually does seem to be built on top of ruins because there are those like random not working fountains in the middle of a forest. Some cobblestone road and absolutely nothing around it. Maybe it doesn't flower right now. You have to take into account when things flower, when they fruit, right? Thinking outside of the box. And is it going to be a failure? Or is she going to create like some super strong health potion instead of the basic ointment? And she uses her flail for stirring instead of that like ornate ladle. Coal. I mean, coal is useful, so Ryza's Atelier. Title drop. Empel. Okay. Lent, Tao, Empel, Ryra. Rira. Coal. Because she was a naughty girl. Whomst? Oh, hello. Okay, she mastered the curtsy at least. Yeah, she was busy making coal. Yeah, they're way too tightly knit to be polite towards each other. Yeah, question is how long will you stay here? So having tea and cookies together is like a Bruderschaft. Yeah, you wanna talk about you? We can talk about you. Outside of the island, I'm guessing? Yep. So she will need permission, Or Claudia can give her one of the pressed ones. Assuming dried flowers also work. Okay, at least she asks for permission and isn't just rushing off on her own. Also, don't just cut those flowers, dig them out so you can plant them in your own garden as well to have good access. And of course, Len's father is a good for nothing. Oh, it's boss and what was it? Lumbar support? Yeah, lumbar support. You don't have your sword. Okay, well, banish him from the village. Yeah. Hmm. Another plot line appears. Len's family. Sure, escapism also works. Temporarily, but it does. What about Tao? You're not taking him? We have Lent. True. Focus on drawing your maps. Hits too close to home, huh? Shut up and do as I say. And you're part of the team, whether you want it or not. Yeah, but to do that, she needs materials. You need to learn how to deconstruct it. Just don't turn it into an issue from Symphogear. Don't build Chateau de Tifauge. Should have taken Claudia with you, since she remembers where the flowers are. Following the advice. I think I've already seen it, although it might have been something else. There's plenty of blue flowers. I mean, grab a handful regardless. You might need them for other recipes. Weren't they supposed to be like bluish? Dig them out. And a monster. A big one. Maybe it's docile? It is not docile. Run. Yep. Yeah, just run, and chances are it's not gonna chase you. It's only protecting its own territory. How did you get this dirty by just running away? And you're going to spy on them through the window. I mean, it was a good strategic choice. A proper warrior needs to know where to run away as well. That's what matters. Exactly. It's not about killing as many enemies as possible, it's about keeping your party safe. I was about to say at least don't throw everything in, but like half of each thing so that you can have at least one more attempt, but even more focus on her thighs. Okay. Not like I'm complaining, just, observation. Is that like a mini game? In the game, when you do alchemy, you have to like connect things, or is it an animation or something? Well, you're gonna have a chance to use it. Use the ointment. Yeah. If he dies, he dies. Oh, it actually worked. Unless we see some adverse effects in a couple of years when he grows a third arm. Yeah, she's feeling fulfilled, isn't she? It's gonna be a very chill series, isn't it? Really reminds me of Shinmai Renkin Jitsushi. I wonder which one was first. Ryza games or Shinmai Renkin Jitsushi manga or light novel or whatever the source material was. Then again, I know there are more games in the Atelier series before Ryza, so maybe Shinmai Renkin Jitsushi got inspiration from those? Ah. Or it's just a genre of alchemist slow life in general, with mild adventures. No, 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 that's gonna be spoilers. Uh, okay. That was episode 2, and it was good, so how about we watch it again? There we go. Oh, um, sure. Whatever you say. There we go. So she has her own alchemical cauldron. I thought she's gonna be working at this guy's place. I don't remember his name yet. But now she has her own little atelier. Volunteering to do work, not exactly, just finding ingredients. Watery fruit. Is this actually named watery fruit? Or again, can you just substitute any watery fruit? I think it might be the latter. If you were to use a watermelon, it would also work. And of course, I can devote my time, and nobody can devote their time to them. They just provide assistance, and it's essentially self-study. Because he and Raida need to um, research the ruins. So you get a book and start learning. You will know what ingredients you need, and once you succeed, hey, that's good. If you don't, you will learn from your failures. Restoration bottle is too advanced, apparently. Yeah, this tells me it can be any watery fruit, right? Because on the left stamp, we see that exact root. On the right stamp, we see that exact flower, and it isn't blue, so I was mistaken. And down the middle, we see a generic icon of a fruit. So any fruit that is watery will do. And you also need a container, says so in the top left corner, and you need ice and thunder. Whatever that means. But you need those for this recipe. Uh-huh. And yeah, you need to be able to at least research your stuff a little bit on your own. You need to be able to synthesize those very basic recipes. And then when I know you're cut for the job, I will be able to teach you. Same goes for Tao. Go find this book and no more direction than that. And the same goes for Lent. Go and draw a map. And that's it. Sure, it helps understanding terrain and whatnot, but uh, it's still just it. Just draw a map. Gather materials only on this island. Always get my permission before leaving the island. Is it because the mainland is so dangerous? Probably. Probably. Or maybe it's because this island is somehow special? Somehow has some special ingredients on it? I don't know. Bitter roots, serenity flowers. Map? I guess it's decent enough, but again, if you were to take off the gauntlet, I'm sure you'd be able to draw it much better. So I don't know why you insist on having it on at all times. I guess it's just part of his character design, and we know that clothes and gear that is part of character design is just a part of that being. They are physically unable to remove it. It's his skin cells that evolved into a gauntlet, and his fingers just fused into live long and prosper permanently. But I'm going to follow my master's directions regardless and show my dad specifically and the rest of the village what I'm capable of. And that makes him angry enough to break the coal. Found the book. Found the root. More ruins. The village is built inside the ruins. Well, on top, I'd say, but sure, that also works. And of course, everybody is wary. I mean, I say of course, but it is weird, it is odd, and our alchemist himself is wondering why that is. Because honestly, why is that? Right? We don't know, and I wonder if we will actually learn the root of why the villagers are so, badly are reacting this badly to a foreigner being here. Why they never leave the island? Why they never take anybody onto the island? There has to be a reason. There has to be a cause. I have a suspicion that it is because this island is essentially a safe haven. The outside world is dangerous, the island is safe, so you stay on the island, and if it comes from outside, it might be dangerous. If you go on the outside, it might be dangerous. There are no monsters on the island is perfectly isolated. Living here is safe, living there is not. Opening a shop to gather information is always a good idea. Even Thaler in The Witcher 3 had the exact same idea to just become a cobbler. Because people talk. People come to you with their troubles, with their issues. People waiting in queue or whatever talk between each other. You hear some juicy gossip at times. You can just gossip with your customers as they're waiting for their order to be fulfilled, etc., etc., etc. And if you're reliable, in the case of being an alchemist, people will automatically be much better, not predisposed, will treat you much better, will be much more friendly towards you. Rare items finally arriving on Kurken, traveling merchant. And some goods in exchange for advertisements. Looking for ingredients. Some colorful grapes. Some really pretty scenes. Really pretty backgrounds and all. Are those rocks CG? I can't tell. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Oh. Yeah, it looks like parts of this environment might actually be CG, but with a really good filter, or they might actually be hand-painted. I don't know, and since I can't tell the difference, I'm just not gonna mention it. Because why? No serenity flower. Can we use something similar? We cannot. At least not at this level. I'm assuming there are ways to substitute certain ingredients. Maybe in the game, maybe even in the show, it will be shown that it is the case, but In this case, you need that particular flower, otherwise you get coal. I wonder, is it also a system in the game? If you use a recipe that doesn't exist, you just get coal? Alchemy Cauldron, Ryza's Atelier. Maps, books. Encyclopedia. Perfectly good place to start when it comes to learning language, because you have a picture of something and you have a word, and you know that this word means this thing. You might not recognize the characters, you might not know the pronunciation and whatnot, but you can associate the shape of the letters, the shape of the string of letters with an item. Makes perfect sense. Claudia. No, wait, Claudia? Claudia Valence. I was correct. And Ryza is entering the upper spheres of society, you know, being able to curtsy each other like little ladies that they are. Is that some shimeji in the background? Or something? No, that's not shimeji. That would be like shiitake. Garlic, parsley, or something, and other herbs. She collected a lot and already hung it on her walls. Yeah, she really quickly changed or made the decorations for this room. Already some flasks, or already some decanters, barrels, because of course it's fantasy world, you gotta have barrels even at home, various herbs. And of course it's everybody's hangout spot. Everybody who comes here is a friend, and friends don't necessarily need to be courteous towards each other. That's just how it works. When you're a very tightly knit group of friends, you don't really have to worry about being rude towards each other, because it's just some friendly banter. And of course, I wanna swing my sword, not draw maps. I initially thought that they might be able to find the flowers inside of this encyclopedia. But no, it seems like it's just something that Tao does in the background. He has his encyclopedia, and meanwhile Ryza is looking for resources, for materials in different ways. Yeah, this scene is what made me think that the flower they're looking for is blue, because I thought it's this flower. But no, it's a different one. And again, it's mentioned small white flowers. This is good that she actually asks for permission. It's fairly rare, I notice, in manga and anime. Usually the protagonist would just rush off on their own, not even thinking, just gather her friends and let's go. Oh, but it's, it's getting late, maybe we should do it tomorrow. No, let's go. And they just go off onto the mainland, get attacked by monsters, get beaten up badly, and it's all a whole, issue created by them just not fucking talking. But no, thankfully not the case. Thankfully Ryza has at least enough smarts to ask Empel for permission. Rock tunnel, watering hole. Lent does not have a good home. He really doesn't. Thankfully he has those adventures with Ryza to drag him away from home. And I can kinda relate. I remember just after school not coming back home until it was sundown, because I just didn't want to. I can relate to Lent, very much so. If I was living in a fantasy world, you bet your ass I'd be trying to train for an adventurer or something. That's always en route, that's always on the road, fighting monsters, saving maidens, gathering ingredients and whatnot. You bet your ass I would be. But instead we were just walking around the forest and hanging around in the playground and, just hanging around mostly. Mm-hmm. Who is boss actually? Is he the mayor of the city? He doesn't seem like the kind. He seems way too young for being a mayor. Is he a son of the mayor? Is he working at the city council or something? I don't know. I don't know who he is, but he does seem to have some pull, some power behind his words and behind what he does. He's not just a random young adult or a random teenager that just is being bossy. He actually has some backing of the town's council or whatever. Because, yeah, he's delivering a notice. Official. His father got drunk, started a fight, and it's your duty to take care of it. That's how families work. Unfortunately, they do. I wish they'd rather not, but they do. I had to pay off my father's debts as well, so again, I can sympathize with Lent very much. And of course, glorious, glorious escapism. Now's the best time to hop off this island and have a good time. Just forget about it, don't think about it, let your issues pile up, then deal with them when you can no longer, put them under the rug. When you can no longer hide your issues in the closet, then you deal with them. I'll gather materials so you can let off some steam. Sure. Medicine maker for hire. Lila is very, very passive. She goes beyond being passive. She's just uninterested in everything. I wonder if it's like her racial trait or something. I still don't think she's a human. Maybe she's like a vampire or some nocturnal creature that she's so sleepy and lacking of energy during the daytime or whatnot. I don't know. Think for yourself and act, then tell me everything. That's it. And yeah, of course, being disappointed because he was expecting that the training will be just, sparring, endlessly just sparring with Lila, maybe Lila telling him some secrets, pocket sand, and all that jazz. And he instead gets the basics. Know what your terrain is. Think for yourself, and then act. Act after thinking. Report back. And then after you report what you did well, what mistakes you made, we can think about improving. It's a slow burn from the very basics, right? Lila doesn't want him to jump straight into combat. She wants to start with the basics. And it is a good way to learn, for sure, but people, especially young people, tend to be very impatient about it. I had plenty of people at school who were in the first grade, and we were just about only learning about algorithms, internet security, what is internet, basic stuff like that, what is operating system, but stuff that you need to know to create the basics. And they were already asking me how to make games. Can you teach us some programming languages? And then when I tried to teach them some programming languages, they would just chat GPT the answer. So what was the fucking point? Right? You need to start from the basics. And this is my usual advice when it comes to programming. If you have absolutely no background in it, start with the basics. There's a course by... what was the university that has this course? Not Cambridge. One of the big universities has a free CS50 course, It's available online, it's completely free. You can go through it and you will learn the very basics of programming. Again, binary system, algorithms, all that jazz. After you go through it, just pick a language, programming language you want. C Sharp, C, Ruby, Rust, Erlang, Elixir, whatever. Pick a project, start making it. Once you have the basics, you can pick any project, any language, and reasonably well work with it with just the documentation, asking some people, and a little bit of Googling. That's why basics are very, very important. That's what being in college taught me. That there are people who are self-taught when it comes to programming, and they just know one single technology and nothing else. But when you are taught the basics, how the OS, how the operating system schedules tasks, how the bits are being flipped on the CPU, all that stuff, all the algorithms without any languages included in it, but just the core of what programming itself is, you can pick any language and start using it. That's how it works. You will have to learn some syntax, sure. You will have to learn some things that aren't present in other languages, sure. But you will know the basics. You will know what a for loop is. You will know what an if statement is. You will know what's a function, what's a class. Okay, let's continue. But of course, he's not satisfied with it. Even less after hearing just shut up and deal with it. So very commonly heard from abusive parents, isn't it? Why me? Because you're a part of the team and you better get used to it very quickly. You're not gonna be the studious bookworm shut in his ivory tower just studying endlessly, because you're an introvert who has extroverted friends. They adopted you, deal with it. That's how it works. And of course, you can't become an alchemist by staying indoors. You need to gather materials for once. You need to learn from the whole world. Just don't become obsessed with learning the secrets of the world. Trust me, it's gonna be better for everybody involved. Tunnel, highway. The tunnel is, I'm assuming, the passage between zones, because JRPGs are very rarely open world. Basic slimes. Some napping other creatures. Weapons check, environment check. I really think she should have grabbed even those other flowers. This looks like flowering garlic. Just, should you need it? Should you need it in the future, just grab it, dry it out, and have it. Instead of having to constantly run to the mainland, you can just build a stock of some of the materials that you might need in the future. And with Serenity Flowers, the Blessed Ointment, or whatever it's called, seems extremely useful. Like, extremely useful. I know it's a very basic healing item, but it is a healing item, so ideally you would want to be able to produce as much of it as possible. So take a shovel, dig it out, put it in a bag, go back home, and grab some singular flowers as well. Plant it in a pot, plant it in the backyard, and have it on hand. I wonder if it's maybe not a system in a game. Might be the case that all the ingredients you need, you actually have to gather. You don't have like your own plot of land where you can plant all those plants that you gather on your journeys and can have access to them at any time. And yet, don't go off looking for particularly big flowers, just gather what you can, as close to safety as you can, don't go wandering off. And especially don't try doing what she's doing. You see a monster, you back off. Chances are it's not gonna pursue. If you try to, get something from their territory, of course it's gonna attack. Hiding behind Lent, of course. He could really use a better weapon. I wonder if he's gonna get one eventually. And yeah, run away as fast as possible. We're not gonna fight it. Why would we? If you can run, if you can just not engage, just don't engage. If the monster is blocking your path, just let it maybe walk away. Maybe try to wait a little bit. Maybe it just goes away somewhere else. Only if you actually can't go any different way except through the monster, then you fight. Or if you get attacked and you cannot run, then you fight. But if you can run, just run, disengage. I have no idea how did they get so dirty by just running away from a monster. Maybe they fell, tripped or something. Got the flowers. Got something to report to Lila. Alchemists. We run away, and of course, yeah, even if you're cautious, it's no use if you get caught off guard anyway. Exactly. But everybody came back unharmed. That's what matters. That's exactly and precisely what matters. Fighting isn't about winning, fighting is about surviving. Watery fruit, bitter root, serenity flower, and a little bit of a thigh shot because of course we gotta have some. I wonder if this is an animation in the game or something like that, or is it some sort of a mini game? Because it's really giving me some like mini game vibes where you have to tap, click something and then click something else and click something else and make some connections and like play some mini Osu game or something. And those vines are like connections between ingredients. Ice, that was a part of the recipe. There should be some thunder as well. Another extremely detailed shot at her thigh. Like, look at this. Oh, my microphone is in the way. Like this little fold between the fold of her shorts and her thighs. How much detail is there in her ass? Jesus Christ. I mean, at least they're honest about what the focus of the show is. Gotta give them that. And here's the thunder. Yep. And here's fire for some reason. It wasn't part of the recipe though. And we get ointment out of it. What do you think, Empel? Isn't certain, but yeah, perfect opportunity to use it. We don't know if it's good yet, though. Maybe it's deathly poison. But if the alchemy works in a way where it just gives you coal if the recipe is wrong, then I guess it's safe. If the item you tried to craft actually appeared, that means it's exactly what was advertised. That's good. That's good to have that certainty. And yeah, she found her place in the world. She can help community. She can help random people. Those shadows underneath her eyebrows look like tiny little Hime brows, and I kind of love it. Ryza with Hime brows wouldn't look bad. Some toes, some ass. In general, ending. Yeah, Ryza found what she wants to do in life. She really wants to be the alchemist, and being able to help a kid really cemented that feeling, I feel. Okay, so maybe the after credits isn't actually a spoiler, it's just an image of some wheat and a memorable scent. I'm assuming she will have to find ingredients of particular scent or something like that. Ah, we'll see. Okay. Good episode, as always. I didn't expect anything less of the show, absolutely. There isn't really much to talk about because there weren't many particularly deep themes yet. Now we got, we got a brand new storyline of Lent. Lent and his deadbeat alcoholic father. So that will probably be something that carries through a few episodes at least and eventually gets resolved, maybe, hopefully. I'm assuming Tao will also get his little storyline, perhaps Claudia as well, perhaps other characters. I can see it being a companion quest in the game, essentially. And I wonder if that's it. One of the companion quests is that you need to help Lent deal with his family situation. Wouldn't surprise me. But no spoilers, please. I know you played the game probably, so don't spoil it to me. You probably have seen third episode as well, so don't spoil it either. Besides that, there's still the topic of the ruins. We don't know much about them. We don't know why they are worthy of research. Are they magical somehow? Can they be utilized somehow? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe there's some ancient knowledge hidden within them. That would be more likely, I'm assuming. But we don't know enough about that yet. Similarly, we still don't know enough about the village and the island itself yet, because there is like 3 villages on the island from what we've seen. I wonder if it's just this village that's so isolationist, or the other villages are very isolationist as well. I would assume if the isolationism has roots in the outside world being dangerous, other villages would follow suit. If the cause is something different, other villages would be much more open. So I wonder if we travel to those other villages. Would be cool. It's the same island after all, and Ryza is not supposed to go to the mainland, but she's supposed to stay within the area of the island, so she could very well visit the other villages. Anything else? Not really. I don't have particular expectations, particular predictions for future episodes for sure, because we don't have any sort of a central storyline quite yet. We might get it sooner or later. My candidates are either solving the problem with monopolization of water, or maybe solving some mystery regarding the ruins. Something like that will be the main story of the season. Or maybe there won't be any. That's also possible. Maybe it will just be a collection of smaller stories that take 2-3 episodes max, and we don't have one full storyline that goes all throughout the series, all throughout the season. I wonder which will it be. Episode 2 is certainly too early to be able to talk about it though, so we will have to see more of it, of course, next week. Or maybe sooner. I don't know. If I feel well enough after I've eaten something and went where I need to go, I might record another episode today. Who knows? What I do know, however, for sure, is that that's gonna be it for me for today. So maybe now it's time for you guys to tell me down in the comments below, what did you think of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that. No spoilers, again, please. YouTube in the comments doesn't allow for spoiler tags or anything like that. Discord does though, so join it up here, also linked in the description below. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why, please, so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Ryza no Atelier, but also Zom 100, Undead Girl Murder Farce, Helk, and Nanatsu no Makenga Shihai Suru, and other shows that will be coming at ya in the future. What's next? Click the bell icon as well, because I stream sometimes. Gunpla, you can see it in the background. Maybe this weekend, maybe next, we'll see. Gacha games, I also stream sometimes, so you might want to stay up to date and be notified about those streams. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, linked down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Madoka Magica, Symphogear and others, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits that you will see shortly. If you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word, it costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And with that said, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of my wonderful Patreons: QB, Without a Net, Fruit, Zayrainer, Akomancer, Yuki Ally, Fassel, Dr. Walt, Marsh, and Hans Peter. And you can join their ranks without the need for alchemy.